Hi, I'm Ted, the creator of Figmode, a modal command layer for Figma. So if you're like me, you're in Figma all the time and using auto layouts all the time. Now, Figma gives you Shift A, which will make an auto layout, which is great. And I use it all the time, except I wanted to be able to adjust all of these things in the properties panel with the keyboard instead of the mouse. So what I have made is a plugin called Figmode, and when you launch it, it creates an auto layout the way that Shift A does, except now we have this command layer over here, and the UI here is mostly for reference, which eventually, the point of this is that eventually you don't need to look at the reference. So now you can type key commands depending on the mode that you're in to do different things. So if I want to change the current auto layout flow direction to row, I just tap R. If I want to set it back to column, just tap C. If I want to change the width to hug, I go into the width mode, type the hug key, and then I can type back with the tilde to go back to the mode that I was in. And this applies to all of these different things. So if I wanted to change the spacing, let's go in here. Now I can change this the way that you would if I had manually clicked into the spacing control over there. I can adjust all the padding in a bunch of different ways. I can do just horizontal, or I can do all, and all of these different things. And so now we can build extremely rapidly, really without leaving the keyboard. And so what I'm going to do is a little demo of how I would build a pricing page using Figmode, and I'm going to start over from scratch. So I'm going to ungroup this. All right. So I do want to start off by making this an auto layout. We'll give it a fill. Now we need some padding, so let's type into padding here. We go to all. All right, so yeah, let's make it pretty chunky. Now I want to make the X direction actually wider than that. Now you're noticing it's not expanding there, so we need to make sure that the width is set to hug contents. There we go. Similarly, these text fields, so let's just set that to there. There we go. Okay. Now, yeah, the spacing is off, so let's go back into Figmode. Hit the spacing, and we'll just use a fixed spacing for now of like 15 pixels. Okay. Now the right side needs some love, so let's go back to padding and just go to right and just expand that out kind of arbitrarily. We might change this to like a fill container later. So then now we've got like a basic kind of tier element here. Let's round the corners right here. Yeah. And then let's make this a component. So we'll call it tier. And then let's duplicate this. Normally I would then take the root component and like stash it somewhere properly, but for now we're just going to leave it there. All right, so now we've got this, we'll call it like starter, change this to whatever, $9 a month. This has additional awesome feature. All right, now the width, of course, is now different than this, so we're going to deal with that in a second. Let's make one more tier here and call it Pro, and we'll say it's $19 a month. It has even more awesome can't type stuff. All right, now so let's say we want to now put all these, of course, in an auto layout, but we want this to be a row. The height is going to need to hug, and the spacing needs some room here. All right, pretty good. Now the heights of these guys need to be fill. So fill container, and then with this fill container. Okay, so yeah, now we've sort of got kind of your basic idea here, although the widths are still uneven. So let's do this way. We'll set this width to fill container, and we'll set each of these to fill container so that they level each other out automatically. Great. Now we've got kind of a standard thing here that's going to expand to fill. We can make these this is actually the type of text field that these should have been in the first place. So let's change these back to an equal X width padding. Okay, so let's call this tiers, and now we want to put this inside of a frame too, so that we can include this headline, and we'll adjust that in a second. So let's put these in a frame, adjust the spacing, and we'll give this some padding too. And we got to make sure that our width is hugging. All right, and then let's make this chunkier. Okay, and then lastly, let's give this like a background of something fun. And, you know, here we go. So I'm not even really demonstrating all of the features of Figmode yet here, but just so that we can kind of look through all of them, alignment is a really handy one. So the idea of alignment here is that these 9 keys are already mapped to the 9 alignment positions in this box model. So if I type E, so top right, goes to the top right, Q, top left, S means everything centered, top, so now this is top centered, which we can't see the difference. If we were to change the height to a fixed height and just make it arbitrarily higher, and then go back to alignment, now we'll see it more clearly how the alignment is moving around. And this is all from tapping through in Figmode. Just for the sake of completeness now, let's look at the settings, because you can override any of these keys. So if you are the kind of person that likes to do custom key mappings, and I know many of you, you can go wild with that. You can remap this however you want. I happen to be right-handed, meaning my left hand is on the left side of the keyboard all the time, and so I have set all these defaults to be accessible almost exclusively from the left hand without moving my palm at all. The only key that isn't reachable from my left hand is P for padding, and I kind of accepted the trade-off just so that you could remember P for padding. But yeah, if you have a different setup, you can remap all those keys however you like. You can also revert them to their defaults whenever you want. And yeah, that's it. It's simple, but once you get used to it and once you start to memorize the movements and the keys, it's ridiculously fast. And so now I can do so many things that before I had to reach over here with my mouse and kind of manually click inside of each of these things and adjust them all manually. So once you start using Figmode, I suspect that you'll probably not want to go back to clicking around like that. All right, let's talk about launching the Figmode plugin, because Figma does not offer user key bindings. I don't know why. I hope they offer this in the future. There's probably some specific reason they don't offer this. Maybe they don't want people to go crazy, but it means that if you want a key binding to launch the Figmode plugin, you need to do it from the operating system layer. Now, in macOS, you can go to System Settings. Easiest thing to do is type in keyboard shortcuts into the search here, and you want this one under the keyboard panel. So keyboard shortcuts. It's going to open this modal, and you want app shortcuts specifically. And so all you have to do is click plus here, choose Figma, and this is the critical part, is the menu title. So you need to type in exactly this, plugins, and then this arrow, this dash caret arrow, Figmode, arrow, layout mode. And this is supposed to be a capital M here. And then you just choose what keyboard shortcut you want, and that's it. And then when you go back to Figma and you have a frame selected or you have object selected and you type that keyboard command, you're going to get your Figmode right here, all ready to accept keyboard commands. Hope you check it out, and let me know what you think.